The story follows a boy named Geto, the malevolent curse user who seeks to exterminate all non-sorcerers. Returns as the main antagonist in the second season of Jujutsu Kisen. With his vast army of cursed spirits and curse users, he is determined to see his vision through. Geto walking down the streets looking for ghosts and other paranormal creatures. He talks about how he was busy that summer because ghosts don't stop doing magic in an alley. Geto spots a ghoul feasting happily on a human body, so he uses sorcery and a blue fire burns the ghoul. Then Genju eats a blue ball, the fruit of his hard work. He talks about how something happened in his past, and he should have made the choice to save the people as a sorcerer. Elsewhere, 3 women sorcerers talk about an abandoned mansion which once belonged to a rich family. But after some incident, the mansion was abandoned, and it is now haunted young high school, and university-level students tend to come here as a test of courage. There are many rumors surrounding the place, and some sort of damage is prominent in that area. Recently, 3 elementary school students went missing on their way home from school. They hope that searching for these victims would lead them to the secret of the mansion. They go to the mansion, which is now covered with weeds, shrubs, and all sorts of plants. It is pretty creepy looking. 2 of the women are trying to go inside and investigate. The inside is pretty creepy too, as it definitely looks abandoned and haunted. One of the women is hesitant to go in, but Mei seems more experienced and confident, so she walks in and the other follows her. Mei and Youji decide to investigate 2 different floors separately, which can never be a good thing in a horror place like this. Youji investigates her floor alone. While also being a bit scared, she reaches a room with a hangman's noose. She also opens lots of other rooms, but finds nothing, but suddenly she hears a strange scratching sound under the bed. She goes to investigate, and 3 rats run towards her. She runs outside panting for her breath, and Mei further scares her by grabbing her from behind. They relax and check their surroundings in the corridor. Mei points out snacks, soda cans, a backpack, and a trouser. She says that she's already seen the same thing 3 times, even though she has been walking a straight line down the corridor. She put a dark mark on the wall before, then she walked straight, but the mark appeared here again. It means that they are walking in a loop, or rather some sort of magic is making them move down the same corridor again and again on a loop. They continue down the corridor, coming to the same place again and again. Mei thinks that this is due to some cursed barrier. The rich person's family must have also died of this very curse. Youji takes the snack boxes and makes a circle to show the loop they are in right now, but she says that this loop is probably not a circle. It is probably a straight line that keeps getting reconstructed when they move through it. If they move through very fast, then they should be able to break through it before the loop can get reconstructed to make it more effective. Youji and Mei decide to run in opposite directions. Youji runs down the right, and suddenly the whole construction starts unraveling behind her. It almost collapses right on top of her, but she runs fast enough and gets out. Bits and pieces of the whole mansion fly up the skies and fall down to the ground, forming circular marks all over the area. A man comes and says that he saved them, and it was the favorite white-haired teacher, Gojo Satoru, a teenager. Gojo, in fact, this was way before he became a teacher, and all that turns out he was the one who broke the barrier just now. Gojo teases Youji by asking if she's crying, which makes her really angry, understandably. Mei arrives and asks Gojo if he can console her too. Gojo adds that Mei would never cry because she's a strong woman. Youji gets offended and yells at him, when suddenly a giant curse appears from behind her and prepares to attack her. But a boy named Geto arrives immediately and summons a spirit that consumes the curse. Youji is really embarrassed and even more angry. Just then another one of their friends, Shoko, appears and asks if Youji is alright. Youji loves Shoko, and she immediately runs to her and hugs her. She tells Shoko not to become like Gojo and Suguru. Then Gojo and Mei talk about how he won't be here in 2 days because of some reason, which Youji does not seem to understand. Mei says that she'll charge more for the loss of 2 working days. Then Mei asks where Tabari is, which shocks Gojo, Gyu, and Shoko, while confusing Youji. Gojo, Geto, and Shoko are second-year students at the Tokyo Jujutsu High School for Sorcerers. Their teacher Yaga scolds them for going off the rails without supervision. Yaga asks who is responsible, and both Shoko and Geto point their fingers at Gojo. What friends these are! Gojo gets a hammer punch to his head. Later, the 3 of them play around in the basketball court while discussing the nature of curses and its monsters. He sees that the only thing that can stop a curse from happening is the peace in people's heart and survival of the fittest. The job of the sorcerer is to protect the weak and destroy the strong. Their sorcery exists for this reason, but Gojo does not agree with this. He thinks that if you have to force someone to do something, then you are weak. Shoko immediately realizes what's happening, so she develops wheels instead of her legs and runs away. Geto challenges Gojo to a fight while summoning a creepy-looking spirit behind him. Gojo also seems like he's just itching to take up that fight, but just then Yaga enters the gym, and so the 2 boys have to pretend like they're best friends, which they probably are. Yaga gives them a mission to complete which annoys both of them. Yaga says that it's an order from Lord Tenjin, who's an immortal sorcerer, responsible for the barriers that protect their Jujutsu high schools. Yaga says that he wants the Holy Order and the bodyguard of a special girl. Yaga says that Lord Tenjin has the art of immortality. Nadi is not actually immortal. When he dies, he will become an even more prominent existence due to some reason Geto. Also adds that when Lord Tenjin will dye the barriers around their base, and all their barrier techniques will be strengthened even more, it is because of him that they are currently able to complete their missions. But in the worst case scenario, Lord Tenjin could become an enemy of humanity. So every 500 years, they renew his body, preventing him from evolving further than they can control. Gojo understands none of this, and frankly, even I'm barely hanging on the girl we saw before will be the new vessel. However, two dangerous groups are full of religious fanatics and are also after the same girl. Gojo and Suguru's mission will be to protect her and take her to the Heavenly Emperor. Geto really serious about the task and the nature of the two groups, but Gojo is really chilled about the whole thing, which does not impress Suguru. So he asks Gojo if he can do the work alone. Gojo declines, but detules to him. He's already at the girl's location, but when he rings the bell, a hidden bomb goes off, causing a huge explosion in the building. Coincidentally, Gojo is also right there. He wanted to be the first as well. Geto protects himself in a rubber ball spirit, when suddenly he notices their target, the girl named Riko, falling to her death. So Geto summons some spirits to go and save her. Meanwhile, a man in a full-on military uniform, someone from one of the groups mentioned before, enters the destroyed room, telling him not to take it personally. Classic anime villain dialogue. But Geto has managed to save Riko. Thankfully, down on the ground, another uniformed man. Bayer throws lots of knives at Gojo, but he stops them all. Bayer claps, saying that he's impressed, and waits until Gojo claps you. Bayer wants to test if Gojo really is as strong as they are. Gojo says that he's not going to overdo it, as that would get him into trouble. So if Bayer just cries and apologizes, then Gojo won't kill him. Bayer becomes really angry at that insult. Meanwhile, the other group that Yaga mentioned while they're watching the whole fight from a distance, they bring in a dangerous fighter named Ananing. Geto is in a destroyed apartment, drinking tea. He is sitting across from the star plasma vessel, Riko Amanai, as a Q member named Kokun begs for mercy while being attacked by a cursed spirit. Kokun threatens that another member named Bayer will come after them if he is harmed, but Jiyu then shows Kokun a picture of Bayer incapacitated by Gojo. Meanwhile, Fushiguro is watching a boat competition with his comrade, who wonders why he is lazing around. Fushiguro says he is waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike at Gojo and wants someone else to weaken him. We learn that Fushiguro is a sorcerer killer, is terrible with money, and has some potential relation to Megumi Fushiguro. Giyu calls Gojo to tell him that two of the cursed spirits he sent Riko's way have been exorcised. Gojo, Kuroi, and Geto head to her school, where Kuroi tells them that Riko could be in the music room or chapel. Gojo heads for the chapel, Kuroi takes the music room, and Geto visits the other vacant areas. Meanwhile, Fushiguro speaks with his comrade over the phone about his plan, and we learn that the Star Religious Group paid him 30 million yen for Riko's bounty. Further, she explains that if Riko dies, the deposit will vanish, resulting in Fushiguro not getting the full reward. At the school, Gojo is attacked by a curse user who can create clones of himself. However, Gojo is able to defeat the attacker fairly easily using several of his own techniques. In the chapel, Gojo finds Riko and Kuroi. Riko is excited to become the vessel for Master Tenjin, but until the merging happens, she wants to go to school. Riko informs Gojo that her friend Kuroi has been kidnapped. Gojo and Geto immediately set out to rescue Kuroi, but they soon find themselves facing off against Toji Fushiguro, a powerful assassin who is determined to kill Gojo. Toji is a unique Jujutsu sorcerer who does not have any cursed energy of his own. However, he has made a pact with a cursed spirit that grants him superhuman physical strength and speed. This makes him a formidable opponent for even the strongest Jujutsu sorcerers. Gojo and Toji engage in a fierce battle, and it quickly becomes clear that Toji is not to be underestimated. He is able to easily break through Gojo's limitless barrier and inflict serious injuries on him. Meanwhile, Geyu and Riko arrive at the hidden inventory, a secret location where the Jujutsu sorcerers store their most powerful cursed tools and techniques. However, Toji follows them and quickly dispatches Geto. He then turns his attention to Riko, who is now the only thing standing between him and his goal of killing Gojo. Riko realizes that she cannot defeat Toji on her own, so she attempts to escape. However, Toji catches her and kills her in cold blood. With Riko dead, Toji has finally achieved his goal of removing the only person who could prevent him from killing Gojo. A cliffhanger as Gojo returns to the hidden inventory and discovers Riko's dead body. It is unclear what Gojo's reaction will be, But it is clear that this event will have a profound impact on him. Geto fighting Toji, who has just killed Riko Amanai. Toji explains that he was able to get into the inner sanctum because he doesn't have any cursed energy, making him invisible to sorcerers. He also reveals that he has a cursed spirit on his shoulder that allows him to see cursed energy. Geto unleashes a variety of curses at Toji, but Toji is able to easily defeat them using his cursed tools. Toji then attacks Geto, who is caught off guard by Toji's strength and speed. Toji badly injured Geto, leaving him for dead. After Toji leaves, Gojo appears, alive and well. He explains to Geto that he was able to survive Toji's attack by using his reverse curse technique. The reverse curse technique allows Gojo to heal himself by converting negative cursed energy into positive cursed energy. Gojo then confronts Geto about his betrayal. Geto explains that he has come to believe that the world is better off without non-sorcerers. He plans to exterminate all non-sorcerers and create a new world where sorcerers can rule freely. Gojo is disgusted by Geto's ideals, and the two fight. Gojo is easily victorious, and he kills Geto. After killing Geto, Gojo is again victorious, and he mortally wounds Toji. Before he dies, Toji tells Gojo that he has a son named Megumi. He tells Gojo to take care of Megumi, and then he dies. In the final scene of the episode, we see Megumi as a young child. He is living with his mother. Satoru Gojo, Iari Shoko, and Suguru Gidoyo are discussing Gojo's new technique, which allows him to automatically select and use the best technique for the situation. Gojo demonstrates his technique by easily defeating 2 special grade curses. 1 year later, Gojo and Jiyu are sent on a mission to investigate a village where curses have been attacking people. They find that the villagers are worshipping a curse, which has made it stronger. Geto uses his curse manipulation technique to absorb the curse, but it is too powerful for him to handle. The curse takes control of Geto and kills 112 villagers. Gojo defeats the curse and saves Geto, but he is disgusted by Geto's actions. Geto explains that he has come to believe that non-sorcerers are the source of all curses and that the world would be better off without them. Gojo refuses to accept Geto's beliefs and tells him that he will never be able to kill non-sorcerers without becoming a curse himself. Geto is sentenced to death by the Jujutsu Council for his crimes, but he escapes before he can be executed. He goes to Shinjuku and meets with Shoko, who tries to convince him to come back to the Jujutsu world. Geto refuses and tells Shoko that he is going to create a new world where only sorcerers exist. Geto leaves Shinjuku and Gojo confronts him. Gojo asks Geto why he has betrayed his friends and his ideals. Geto says that he has simply realized the truth about the world, and that Gojo is the one who is living in a fantasy. Gojo refuses to fight Geto and tells him that he will always be his friend no matter what. Geto leaves, and Gojo is left to reflect on what has happened. He is heartbroken by Geto's betrayal, and he wonders what he could have done differently to prevent it. Geto returns to the Star Religious Group, a cult that worships curses. He tells the group that he will lead them to a new world where curses and sorcerers can live together in harmony. The group is hesitant at first, but Geto kills one of them to set an example. The others submit to Geto's leadership, and he begins to build his army of curses and sorcerers. Youji, Megumi, and Nobara are discussing what to do with their day off. Youji suggests watching the movie Earthworm Man 4, but Megumi declines and goes home, while Nobara goes shopping. Mami and Yaneo are talking to Yoshinobu about Youji, Megumi, Nobara, Maki, and Panda. They ask him if it is possible to promote them to grade 1 sorcerers. Yoshinobu tells them that they must first complete specific missions with current grade 1 sorcerers or those equal in status. If they meet the criteria, they will become semi-grade 1 sorcerers. Yuko approaches Youji and tells him that she is leaving. She gives him her contact information and tells him to stay in touch. Youji is happy to see her and asks her when he can see her again. Yuko tells him that she will contact him when she is able. Megumi and Nobara are talking about Yuko and Youji. Nobara confirms that Yuko gave her contact information. She vows to get a boyfriend before Youji gets a girlfriend, because she would be upset if he got a significant other first. Youji returns and asks Megumi and Nobara to watch Earthworm Man 4 with him. They both decline, and Youji leaves alone. Yutime is lost in her thoughts when she is suddenly summoned by her superiors. She is told that there is a suspected traitor among the sorcerers, and that she needs to help investigate. Youji, Megumi, and Nobara are summoned by Yutime. She tells them about the suspected traitor and asks them for their help in investigating. The 3 of them agree to help. Yutime interrogates the suspected traitor, but they deny everything. Yutime is not convinced, and she decides to keep an eye on them. Mahito and Gyusu visit Muta, who is being held in a secret location. They have promised to fix his body in exchange for information about the Jujutsu High students. Muta is reluctant to give them the information, but he agrees in the end. Mahito and Muta begin to fight. Mahito is much stronger than Muta, and he easily defeats him. However, before Mahito can kill Muta, Geju stops him. Geyu tells Mahito that they need Muta to keep feeding them information. Kokichi Muta, controlling his giant puppet, Ultimate Mechamaru, continues his battle against Mahito. Muta unleashes a year's worth of his stored energy in a powerful attack, but Mahito is able to dodge it. Muta then uses a scroll-like tube to pierce Mahito's spirit body, but Mahito is able to regenerate and escape. Geto Suguru, watching the battle from afar, is impressed with Muta's abilities. He notes that Muta is the only sorcerer he knows who can consistently damage Mahito. Back in the city, Kiyotaka Ijichi briefs Nanami Kento, Megumi Fushiguro, and Takuma Ino on the situation in Shibuya. He explains that a veil has been lowered over the district, trapping everyone inside. Only sorcerers are able to freely enter and leave the veil. Jito's plan to unleash a massive number of cursed spirits on Shibuya is finally underway, and the Jujutsu sorcerers are scrambling to respond. Nanami and his team split up to investigate the veil. Nanami encounters a group of humans who are being forced to call out for Satoru Gojo. Back in the forest, Muta continues his battle against Mahito. Muta is able to damage Mahito in a way that no other sorcerer has been able to, but Mahito's cunning and adaptability ultimately lead to his victory. He uses Mechamaru's cannons to blast Mahito, but Mahito is able to dodge the attacks and regenerate from any damage he does sustain. Mahito finally gets serious and uses his domain expansion, Idle Death Gamble. Muta is trapped within Mahito's domain, where he is forced to play a deadly game of chance. Muta manages to escape from Mahito's domain by using a technique from the new Shadow style. He then attacks Mahito with a powerful blast from Mechamaru's cannons. Mahito is badly damaged by the blast, but he is able to survive. He reveals that he has been hiding inside Mechamaru all along. Mahito destroys Mechamaru from within, killing Muta. Geto arrives on the scene and congratulates Mahito on his victory. Gojo entered the barrier alone, while Youji, Ui, and Mei were paired up to check out another veil that had been lowered over Meiji Shrine Station. Mai explains that the Shibuya incident is a carefully planned attack by Mahito and G2. They have released a large number of cursed spirits into the city and have created a barrier to trap everyone inside. Yuji and Uiu are tasked with rescuing civilians and defeating cursed spirits, while Mei will be providing support. Yuji and Ui quickly defeat the transfigured humans, but Yuji notices something strange behind them. He sees a large black object hovering in the air. He is attacked by a locust cursed spirit, which is a very powerful type of curse. Mei is able to hold her own, but she is clearly struggling. Yuji arrives and joins the fight against the locust cursed spirit. The curse is very difficult to defeat, but Yuji is able to land a decisive blow by destroying the object that was powering it. They believe that it may have been a cursed object that was being used to control the locust cursed spirit. Yuji and Ui reunite with Mei, and they continue on their mission. Gojo confronts Jogo, Hanami, and Chozo, three of the most powerful cursed spirits in the world. Gojo is confident that he can defeat them, but he is aware that they are not his only concern. He is also worried about the civilians who are trapped in the barrier. Gojo is attacked by a large group of cursed spirits, but he is able to easily defeat them. However, he then notices that the barrier around Shibuya has been strengthened. Geto appears and taunts Gojo. He tells Gojo that the Shibuya incident is just the beginning, and that he plans to destroy the entire world of Jujutsu, where Gojo is fighting Jogo, Hanami, and Choso in the underground platform of Shibuya Station. The three curses are using civilians as shields, but Gojo is still able to overpower them. Jogo realizes that they need to buy time for Mahito's plan to succeed, so he uses his cursed technique to create a barrier around himself, Gojo, and the civilians. Mahito arrives on the scene with a large army of transfigured humans. He attacks Gojo with his idle death technique, but Gojo is able to dodge it. Gojo realizes that he can't defeat all of the transfigured humans and the three curses at the same time, so he comes up with a plan. Gojo has defeated all of the curses and transfigured humans, but he is exhausted. Mahito takes advantage of this and seals Gojo in the prison realm, a special barrier that can trap even the most powerful curses.